Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. We are live. Hello, my name is Frank Kramer. I am the founder of Eat Like a Vegan Chef. And today I'm going to cook a 3-course menu. Before I get there, I'd just like to introduce myself. I help people struggling with weight or struggling with eating, with bad eating habits, to adopt a whole food, plant-based lifestyle, to feel better and to achieve ultimate health. That's what I'm doing. Okay, today we are going to cook something really nice. We have, of course, only seasonal products, very, very important. I have a summer peach gazpacho, and I'm going to serve it in shooters. So the reason why I do that is because if, you know, we all have little barbecues and receptions, these are perfect conversation starters. So they're small, they're easy to drink, and they have a little kick to it. And it's just, to me, I think it's a great touch to any kind of party. Second course is going to be chickpea pasta with oven roasted tomato sauce. Very simple today, but seasonal. Then my dessert is going to be a chocolate cupcake with strawberry mousse. So let's get to it. And again, it would be great if you could announce yourself, who you are and where you're from, so I know you're there. I will cook, and while I cook, I'll check if I have any questions. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Please feel free to place your questions in the comment box, and I'll get to them in a minute. Okay, so let's start with the cupcakes first, because they take the longest. For that, I have about 1.5 cups of oats, oat flour, I must say. I just made it earlier with made from rolled oats. Very simple. Just put it in a food processor and just blend it. Comes flour. Okay. Then first I'm going to add the dry ingredients first. This is about 3 tablespoons of cocoa. I have about 2 teaspoons of baking soda. And 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Just mix it all together. I like to put just a pinch of salt to it. Not much. Okay. Now I'm going to put this back in the bowl. Oops. I'm making a mess here. And now we're going to add our wet ingredients. What I did was obviously we don't add I don't add eggs to my recipes. Dairy is all vegan. I have 2 tablespoons of flax seeds, and I added 6 tablespoons of water to it. That becomes a really egg-like consistency, and that's instead of our eggs. So put this in here. I don't know if you probably cannot see it, but the consistency is really egg-like. Okay, so it's really gooey. Now I have 2 tablespoons of applesauce, which I made earlier. It's just apples cooking down, a little cinnamon to it. Add a little water, just cook it down, and I put it in the food processor. That's it. I add this to it. The applesauce goes for the oil. So whatever oil your recipe says. If you want to use the regular recipes and you want to make the oil, the exact same amount you put in applesauce. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of lemon juice, and the reason why baking soda does not work without an acidity in the dough. So we have to add a little bit of lemon juice to it. Okay, so now here I have about half a cup of dates, and I pureed them earlier in a food processor. So I'm going to add this to it. And I'm going to add a little water. Combine all these ingredients, and then I'm going to add the flour to it. The dates go instead of sugar. So as you can see, there's no sugar anywhere. And the dates are just a natural sugary product, which is great. So I don't have to use sugar at all. So now I'm going to add my flour to it. Just going to add a little bit of water to it. If you see it's too dry, I didn't use as much water as I should have for my dates. That's it. It is very, very chocolatey. You can smell the chocolate. As you can see, this is about the consistency. So I'm going to fill it into my cupcakes. Just a good dollop in here. So we have about three quarter. Okay, almost there. Making a mess here. Good. This goes in the oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. Very, very simple. I'm going to set it for 25 minutes. Later, I'm going to check it with a little toothpick if it's cooked. If it comes out clean, it's cooked. That's all we need to look out for. I obviously had the oven preheated. Otherwise, you're not going to cook it to perfection. Good. Okay. Our next step is our gazpacho. Good. In the meanwhile, while I do the gazpacho, I'm going to heat up the water for my chickpea pasta. Okay. So this is usually gazpacho, as you know, it's made with tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers. This is a very different gazpacho. It's a more summery. It's made with peaches. And I do have tomatoes. I have yellow tomatoes today. So it's more or less like a yellow gazpacho. I have orange peppers here. And I have the traditional ingredients, onions, garlic. So it's a little bit different, but quite exciting, in my opinion. First, I'm going to add the peaches. So we want to have just a little bit of water or tomato juice. In this case, I use water, just in case I need some moisture. Sometimes the peaches are not moist enough to make it liquid. So I have a little water. Okay. This is a beautiful texture, just right here. Let me show this to you. That's just enough to blend for the gazpacho, because we put all the other ingredients in there. We don't want it too fun. Peppers, and we can add the tomatoes and the onions and the garlic. Becoming a little bit more liquid. I'm going to add the cucumbers, and I add a little bit of water to it. The Tabasco, to give it a little kick. Black pepper, and just a little salt, not much, really just a little bit. You can make this gazpacho with any type of fruit. Watermelon, for instance, tastes absolutely to die for. But I just wanted to use a different kind of fruit today. A little bit more water. Okay. Let's taste it. Wow. Okay. I knew I was missing something. A little lemon juice. I'm sorry, lime juice. To bring it all together. My water is boiling, so I'm going to use chickpea spaghetti. It's just one ingredient, just chickpeas, which is beautiful. Perfect for whole food plant-based diet. I put everything in here. Oops. Stir it a little bit so they don't stick together. Okay. For the muffins, you want to make sure you don't open the oven the first 5 minutes, because you disturb the baking process. You want to let the hot air out, and that sometimes could stop the process of baking, and they could fall down. So we don't want that. Good. Okay. Spoon. Bad idea. I'm going to fill it right here in the shooter. Just decorate it a little bit with a lemon, with a cucumber, and that's it. Very simple. Got a little kick to it. It's just beautiful, very summery, and it just tastes beautiful. Very, very light. You have a little sweetness in there because of the peaches. Then you have the tomatoes. Slight acidity in there because of the lemon, of course. The garlic gives it the depth, and the onions. The Tabasco gives it a little kick. I think it's just perfect. And for summer barbecue or for a reception, people can drink it with one hand. They don't have to use a spoon. It's just great. And for some of you who are a little bit more adventurous, you could add a little vodka to it. Not that I promote alcohol, but you could do that if you wanted to. Good. So that concludes our gazpacho. Steer pasta. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to cook the tomato sauce. And earlier on, I roasted the tomatoes already because this is a process what takes just a few minutes. I mean, a few hours. What I did was I used fresh basil leaves, fresh oregano leaves. I placed them on the bottom of the pan. I used a glass Pyrex pan. I don't like to use aluminum pans for tomatoes because the acidity in the tomatoes just aggravates the aluminum, and metals could leak out. So I don't like that. That's why I'm using a glass pan. Glass is so much more cleaner. Then I added a little water to it, and then I placed my sliced tomatoes right on top of it, a little salt and pepper, and I place those garlic cloves right on top. And I'm going to put everything in a blender and just give it just a little chop. Really not much. Oh. Sorry, my sous chef is off today. I have to clean myself today. Okay. So my pasta doesn't cook. Almost. Turn it down a little bit. Good. Okay, so I'm going to add my tomatoes in here. You see, I place the basil leaves right underneath here. It's all fresh, fresh from the garden. The tomatoes are fresh from the garden. The basil is fresh from the garden. The oregano is fresh from the garden. It's just beautiful. Garlic. And of course, don't forget the juice. Very important. Okay. it a little out. So maybe a little more, but you get the idea. You can make it as fine as you want. You can make it as chopped as you want. I'd like to have a little consistency in here, so I'm going to put it in a pan. Just give it a little heat. Okay, the pasta should be ready. Close it up. Ready? Good. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my pasta right into the sauce. Okay, but I don't want to add all because good. Press. It's going to strain. The beauty is the pasta are cooked right away and put right away into the sauce. So there is no waste. There is the flavor goes straight into the tomato sauce. That's the beauty of it. Okay, turn it up a little bit. Let's taste it. Oh my goodness. The oven roasted tomatoes and the garlic is just unbelievable. The flavor is fantastic. That's it. Great. A little sauce first. Okay. Of course, my fork is on. I like to roll it up a little bit just to make it a little nice. Okay, decorated with a little basil, and that's it. Very, very simple. That's my little chickpea pasta with oven roasted tomatoes. Very, very simple. It's very easy to make. You saw it took little time. The only difference is that the oven roasted tomatoes, they take about 2 hours in the oven at about 300 degrees. That's it. But you can do this. You can even do it in the Instant Pot. You can place your tomatoes in there and roast them. That's it. You can slow roast them, or you can do it fast. It's there are so many varieties you can do. You can roast tomatoes. That's it. Okay. Maybe I need this here so you can see. Okay, let's see how far our muffins are. yet. In the meanwhile, we can do our strawberry mousse. We just clean this here. So for this, I'm going to put tofu. I have about 8 ounces of tofu, silken tofu. I'm going to drain the water first. I don't want the water in here. Okay. First, I'm going to puree it just a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to add strawberries. A little bit vanilla. Open my bottle. That's it. That's our strawberry mousse. Very quick, very simple. Okay. Could use a little sugar. In this case, we are adding a little maple syrup to it. Just a little. You don't have to. Okay, that's it. You see how calm my muffins are? Let's put in a toothpick. Let's see how it works. Just a few minutes. Any questions so far? Let's see. Hi, Dicey. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Justin. Hi, Susanne. Hi, Mary. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Justin. Hello, Susanne. Thank you so much. Greetings from everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Dicey. Do I pronounce it right? Okay, good. I know my son is downstairs in the office and he's already waiting for the food coming down his way. So every time I'm finished cooking, he is calling whoever joined on Instagram or Facebook. He's telling him, "Hey, guess what I'm eating?" And he's showing off. So he's looking forward for this. But maybe I'm eating it myself. I'm really, really hungry. Okay, good. Let me take out the muffins. And those muffins should be really chilled. Yeah. Sure. Get a plate. going to add some chocolate mousse on the plate first. Okay. I'm going to place the muffin right in the center. Can you see? Have a little bit of strawberry sauce on top, strawberry mousse. Decorated with a mint leaf. Very simple. See? Very, very, very simple. This is a very small muffin. You can make it in bigger muffin pans if you have. And that's it. Strawberry mousse. Everything is seasonal except the chocolate. That's all year round. But that's it. Very healthy. It's whole food. It's made from whole food. So it's something for a sweet tooth. I definitely need once in a while something sweet, especially after dinner or after lunch. I always crave something. You know what that means. These are food cravings, and food cravings are not good. We can let go of them by going through the process, but I think this is whole food, and there's no real added sugar to it. No added sugar. So that is a perfect dish for anyone. Okay, good. Let me see. What are the directions for roasting the tomatoes in the Instapot? Let me show you. 1 second. If you have this equipment that goes into the Instapot, that's called a steamer, basically. You can put a layer of tomatoes on the bottom and a layer right here in the middle. And you can do the same thing with the herbs, with everything. Put it in the Instapot, and then you can cover it with this here. This is the fryer. You could the air fryer. You could do it with this, or you could use the regular Instant Pot and do it on bake, I think. Put it at 250 degrees for about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. I would do it for 2 hours. Check it again. That should be good. And what the process of oven roasted tomatoes is simply to intensify the flavor. That's all what the oven roasting process is about. You intensify the tomato flavor of it. That's all it is. You could use regular tomatoes, but the process of oven roasting is just incredible, especially for tomato sauce. Any tomato sauce tastes better with oven roasted tomatoes because the sweetness is intensified very often, and actually, a lot of people add sugar to tomato sauce just to make it a little sweet. You don't need that. If you have, let me put this aside. So if you roast the tomatoes in the oven, you get such a beautiful flavor, intensified tomato flavor, which you can get hardly from anywhere else. This happens only in the oven or in the Instapot, for this matter. You just have to make sure that you keep the juice in the Instapot, which drops down. You want to utilize that. That's very important. Add a little bit of water into the Instant Pot, the same way I did it in the oven, because we cook without oil. Usually, if you oven roast, we add oil. That's just a given. But because I don't cook with oil, I use water, and it works. So, okay. Coming back, any other questions? Okay, so Hyland, so maybe next time I'll feature a Instant Pot recipe for a few. It's just Instant Pot. You can do so many things. You can pressure cook. You can bake. You can slow roast. You can slow cook. There's so many things. It's just beautiful. When I cook, and when I cook on a weekend, I cook so many dishes, so I have enough for the week. I have my Instant Pot filled with stuff. I have a pot, 2, 3, 4 pots cooking, and it's just it helps me. It's so much easier to use the Instant Pot. What I usually do is I saute my stuff in there, my onions, my garlic, whatever I do. I put the beans in or whatever I cook, or the vegetables, season it, put the lid on it, and let it cook. That's it. And when it's finished, I open it up, re-seasoning it, maybe let it cook for another open cook without a cover for about 5 to 10 minutes, just to make sure everything is settled. It's beautiful. Yeah. The beauty is when you, for instance, with this pasta dish, how often we cook the pasta separate, we cook the sauce separate, and then we drain the pasta. We're gonna rinse it with water, and we rinse all the nutrients out. So instead of putting it all right in the sauce and use a little bit of water, it benefits the sauce. It's just beautiful. It gives it flavor. Let's see. Any specific brand names that are really durable and last long? Yeah, Instant Pot. I use Instant Pot. So actually, I use the Instant Pot Duo, which has both. So you get both the air fryer and you get the regular lid. You can do 10 different functions. It's great. It's really great. I love it. And I haven't had any issues with this. It's working perfectly. There are other brands, of course. I think Ninja is out there. I think KitchenAid. I haven't used them. I used Instant Pot, and it's great. It worked for me. I will try that. I have an air fryer. Great. Yeah, try that. For instance, the other day I featured a air fried cauliflower on YouTube, and you can look it up. That was just beautiful. I used the Instant Pot, add a little water to it. I marinated the cauliflower with I think it was a Asian ginger sauce, I believe. I marinated it, put it in there, and I air fried it. I'm not sure how long I did it, but 20 minutes or so, I'm not sure. So it came out beautifully, absolutely beautiful, and it tastes great. It's something you can do it in the oven, but in the Instant Pot, it concentrates the flavor in there because the fumes cannot get out. It's just beautiful. Okay. I have the same thing and I love it. Yes, yeah, it's great. Let's see. Any other questions I missed? Do you offer these recipes in PDF format? I can do that, yes. Justin, I made chickpea pasta last night. It was a recipe from vegan personal trainer from the UK. Sadly, mine didn't have oven. Thank you. Well, it's just, you can do it with any kind of sauce, but the oven roasted sauce is just, it is so beautiful. And you have, it's a complete protein you have here. You have your chickpeas combined with the tomatoes. What's missing now, it's maybe a little bit of spinach or kale, but kale is not in season. So spinach would be great. Yeah, good, good. So now you have an idea with, oven roasted tomatoes. People don't like to do it because it takes too long. That's the problem. But when you have an Instant Pot, you just put it in, forget about it. Time it, that's it. Or if you're at home, you put it in your oven, put a timer on, and that's it. You can put them in a glass container, keep them. You can make a whole jar and keep them in a refrigerator. And every time you need to make tomato sauce, it's hands down the best tomato sauce you ever make. And you can add your own ingredients to it. You don't have to leave it just plain. You can make it spicy. You can add black olives to it if you want. You can add spice like peppers. I have peppers growing in my backyard right now. That's stunning. I mean, just take one of these, take the seeds out, and just saute it a little bit. It's beautiful. There's so many different things you can do. I think most important is once you have the basics, you can go anywhere. For instance, this gazpacho, we all know the basic gazpacho recipe. So you take the tomatoes out and you put peaches, or you take watermelon, as I said before. You use anything, any watery fruit works perfectly. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Darcy. Okay. Okay. Oh, by the way, in the past, I always posted my recipes on Facebook, but my website is going to be ready this weekend. So I'm going to post all these recipes on my website. So no more posting on Facebook. It's just it's a lot of work, and I think it's so much easier to do it on my website. And then now you have a means of checking where all my recipes are. So probably this Sunday is going to be released. Any other questions from anyone? Yeah. Okay. Good. So that was my 3-course menu for today. I hope you liked it. It's very summary. I like to, as you know, I like to cook with seasonal ingredients. It is just not sustainable to cook with ingredients that have traveled 3,000 miles from the other side of the country. It's not good for our environment. It's not good. The nutrition in there is not as good as if you get fresh fruits and vegetables from your farmer or farmer's market, or where it is grown in your neighborhoods or in your state. I would say so. So it is so important that I promote seasonal ingredients all the time, whether it is if I cook professionally or not. It's first of all, it's cheaper, and it's just more sustainable. Just imagine we are eating tomatoes all year round, and tomatoes are being sold everywhere in the country, but then they're not in season. So we know we get our tomatoes from Florida or from California, but and they're red. But how did they ripen? That's the key here. The problem is when tomatoes are not in season, they are being bought by distributors green from the farmers. And then they go into the warehouse and they stay there for months until they turn red. Some even use gas in order to speed up the chlorophyll process. First, they are green, and then they turn red because of the carotenoids. So when they're green, they have a lot of chlorophyll inside, and then the chlorophyll turns carotenoids, and that's how tomatoes change their color. But that said, we should always be conscious about what kind of vegetables are in season. And I will post this on my website as well. It's just so important to utilize fruits and vegetables that are in season. And it's also better for you, better nutrition. And it's so much more fun going to the farmer's market. Why not? Go around, chat with your farmers or chat with the guys who are selling it. It's a beautiful thing. And you get to learn more vegetables. You get to learn the people who grow them, which I think is equally important, because you can talk to them, you can ask them, hey, listen, are you using pesticides? How do you grow it? What kind of soil you're using? That is all important. You know, when you get vegetables from the big farms, they might not be organically grown, and so that's something I'm very keen on. Okay, any other questions? Then I would say, okay, you are welcome, everyone. I really appreciate that you came today and you watched me cooking. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And until next time, okay? And Susanne, thank you so much. I'll speak to you. And everyone else, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Dicey, Lynn, Justin, thank you so much for coming in. I'll see you next time.